Start. Good evening to everyone. We will start with a prayer. Πάτερ ημών, ο εν της ουρανής, αγιαστήτω το όνομά σου, ερθέτω η βασιλεία σου, γεννηθεί το θέλημά σου, ως εν ουρανό και επί της γης, των άρτων ημών των υπιούσιων, δώσει ημίν σήμερον και άφεση ημίν τα φιλήματα ημών, ως και εμείς αφίουμε τις φιλέτες ημών, και εμείς ενέγγις ημάς πειρασμών, αλλά ρίσε ημάς από του πονηρού. Ότι σου εστίν η βασιλεία και η δύναμη και η δόξα του Πατρός και του Υιού και του Αγίου Πνεύματος, νυν και αεί και εις τους αιώνας των αιώνων. Amen. Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone had a blessed summer. We, all of us at St. Dimitri's community, have been working all summer to try to get our school opened, to allow your kids to come in a safe environment. We look forward to seeing your children again. I hope everyone was able to survive and be healthy. It's been a difficult summer for all of us, but thank God if we all made it and are healthy in our homes. We look forward to seeing your children when we reopen, and to know that all efforts have been put in place in order to accommodate all the government agencies, and at the same time to do what was right so that your children are coming to a safe environment, and to be able to, for the kids to properly learn. I think we have to come to realize that our children need to be in school, because through interaction, it's a healthy environment for our children to grow and interact amongst themselves. So I look forward to seeing everyone. Have a good night, and God bless you. And I will turn the camera over to our school board chair, Forti Papa Michael, which has done a great job this year in terms of following up with administration and doing what is necessary for the school to open. We thank Forti for his efforts, the administration, Helen Karayorgos, as Betsy, and Alexander Tsongas. We appreciate all their efforts in terms of putting all this together and presenting this evening. Have a blessed evening. God bless you.
Thank you, Father. Good evening, everybody. And I'm looking forward to having a productive discussion tonight. The objective of our meeting tonight is to be able to share with you our plan going forward in opening our school and welcoming all our students back. And as Father indicated, in a very safe and controlled environment, conforming with all the requirements of our health agencies and our governor's directive. We did our best to make some investments in securing our infrastructure and our entire schools complex, both here at St. Demetrius as well as St. Catherine's. Tonight we'll be discussing the grades 7 through 12, and Helen Karageorge, as our acting principal of that group in our system, will be going through in detail to share with you our plans and going forward. We're looking forward to having our children come to the school to interact. As Father pointed out, it's the ideal situation to have children in a classroom rather than trying to do learning from home, because children psychologically, they need to interact amongst themselves and look forward to attending school rather than dealing with it as a chore. And we trust that our parents will understand what we're trying to do and appreciate that what we're doing is for the best to create an environment in the best interest of our children, our students. And at this time, again, on behalf of the entire school board, I want to thank everybody. I want to thank our administrators, Helen, Betsy, as well as Alexandra, and the support that they receive from other staff to be able to put this together and reopen our schools in the next month. And at this time, I'll turn the camera over to Helen. Helen, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Papa Michael, for your kind words. Father Nectarios, Father Nicholas, for helping us put this together. Dear parents, I want to thank you for joining us this evening. For your children who will be in grades 7 to 12. As Mr. Papa Michael mentioned, I will be the acting principal for the coming year. I look forward to a productive year. Before we get started with the questions that we received, I want to thank both Ms. Songas, Ms. Sideris. I want to thank Mr. Tiriakos. I want to thank Ms. Lori, Ms. Dimitra, and just as important, and usually the ones that go unnoticed, are our custodial staff for working the entire summer to make sure that we have a safe and pleasant start of the year, and that we continue to do well throughout not just September, but the fall and the rest of the year. Our plans have been posted online on the school website, sdprep.org. I hope you had the opportunity to look them over. Some of you definitely did, because your questions were geared towards those plans. I also discovered that some of you did not go through the plans because some of the questions that you had were clearly stated. But this is what we're here for, a productive discussion, as was mentioned. And we will go over everything that you need to know, which, if it applies for 7 through 12, most of the time, it will apply to the younger grades as well. Some of the times it will not. So again, although Ms. Songas and Ms. Sideris and I do work together, there are certain things that are applicable to the older children that are not applicable to elementary school, lower elementary, etc. So let me begin by saying that all of our plans, the school reopening plans were approved by both the Department of Health and the New York State Department of Education. We are licensed by the New York State Department of Education Board of Regents, so it's very important that our academic plans are approved by them, which they were. The Department of Health of New York State also approved our plans for reopening, so much so that we had a date set for September 1st, which sounded quite early to some, but it was approved to September 1st, similar to what some non-public schools are doing, charter schools, etc. And I'll get back to the September 1st date in a moment. We will have traditional live instruction, which means your children will be in school 5 days a week on what I like to call a staggered schedule, another new vocabulary term in education. A staggered schedule is that grades 7, 8, and 9 will be coming in at a different time compared to 10, 11, and 12, and will be dismissed at different times as well. And I will give you the specific times also. If your child has a health issue, a pre-existing condition, if your child lives far from the area, outside of Astoria, and we do have children who actually commute from the Bronx, we have children who commute from Lower Manhattan, etc. If your child falls into one of those two categories and is in grades 7 through 12, there will be remote synchronized learning, which means the following. Your child will be following the schedule of his or her peers in the classroom. Again, we don't expect everyone to go remote. The circumstances we are considering right now are, as I said, a pre-existing health condition and travel and transportation. Of course, if you happen to live, or your child happens to live with an elderly person or a senior citizen with a pre-existing condition, or even if you as a parent have a pre-existing condition, please let us know and we will work with you. We do not have what public schools have, which is hybrid. And that would be across the board from kindergarten all the way until grade 12. Hybrid would be that they come to school 3 days a week, stay home 2 days a week, vice versa, etc. The choices are simple: 5 days a week, in school, staggered schedule, or a remote schedule. And again, if it's remote, your child will follow the schedule of their peers and will follow along with what the teacher is doing in the classroom. as long as we are able to accommodate. There will be certain cases where we will not be able to accommodate remote learning. For example, gym. Gym will be held outdoors as far as the weather permits. We will not be using the gymnasium. We indicated that in our plan. We will not be using the gymnasium because we feel that with COVID still being a threat, it's better if the children are outdoors. So during the gym period, your child may not be zooming in, or the new term now is using Schoology, and Mr. Tiliakos will explain the technology aspect a little bit more. But for the 5 major subjects, English, Greek, math, science, and social studies, it will be synchronized learning for the children who do wish to go remote. I know that our school likes to be compared to other schools. Ms. Sedaris and I, Ms. Songas and I sometimes do find this disheartening. We are open to constructive criticism. We all have counterparts in non-public schools that we keep in touch with, and in other private parochial schools. We speak to them, we exchange ideas. They take some of our ideas, we take some of theirs. We are not here to compete. We are here to have a cooperative learning experience for your children, for our staff, for basically the Greek American community. Saying that thus far, it is unfortunate that we cannot come up with a full-fledged program as of yet because some of you have not registered your children. For those of you who did register, I thank you. I thank you on behalf of Ms. Lori and Ms. Dimitra, because when we're trying to set up classes, it's a little difficult when it is today, August 25th, and we see that the 7th grade is close to 30 students registered, which means that we may have to open up a third 7th grade. And then we have a class like the 8th grade who is only at 10 students. This makes it difficult in several cases. The number of teachers, the number of students in the classroom, how many students will be on the remote track, how many students will be in the live track. All of this plays a big role. So I ask you, after tonight's meeting, please talk with your children, talk with your families, and decide if there is going to be registration. If you are going to bring your child back to St. Demetrius, we need to know as soon as possible in order to allocate resources. New York State did not send funding for textbooks until a few days ago. This has nothing to do with St. Demetrius. This has to do with the fact that the governor was waiting to see how the schools would reopen, when they're going to reopen, et cetera, before allocating funds. We did have our funds allocated. Textbooks are being ordered. Most of the textbooks will be in PDF form also, so your child does not have to drag their textbooks to school. When needed, they'll be allowed to keep them at home. And then if need be, in school, they will be using workbooks and other materials that the teachers will be using for them. I would also like to mention that we have taken other steps to make sure that our school is ready, including the sanitizing, which is key at this time. Every classroom has an air filtration system, which will allow for the rooms to be kept clean. Those filtration systems will be running as long as the children are in the classroom. We have put in brand new doors in the middle school, and the middle school classrooms will still be used by 7th graders for certain subjects. So there is a new intercom system in the middle school, as well, with new safety-proof doors as well. We have personal protective equipment for all children, for all students, faculty, and staff, hand sanitizers. All the bathrooms door jams are for the classrooms. I apologize as far as safety is concerned. As far as personal protective equipment, we have hand sanitizers on every floor. All of our bathrooms are open, and they are equipped with enough soap. Our custodians know to go in every period and check that there's enough towels, enough soap, etc. There will be a teacher, a a social distance monitor, safety distance monitor, social distance monitor. The acronym is SDM. Some of you may have heard it before. There will be a teacher on every floor monitoring who is going in and out of the classrooms. So if they need to use the bathrooms, if your child needs to use the bathroom, they will sign out for their classroom. They will find the SDM on the floor. He or she, that faculty member, will be stationed on the floor, and then he or she will tell them if they could go to the restroom or not, because we do not want more than 2 students in the restroom. Water fountains will be closed. Your children should bring bottled water from home in plastic bottles. This is to prevent cross-contamination. So please make sure that they bring their own water bottles. I truly hope, and again, no glass bottles. This applies, I think, for all of us as well. I mentioned the air purifiers, the new intercom system. We have a renovated medical room, which was approved by the New York State Department of Health. We've expanded basically the nurse's office, and now there will be a waiting area for the children. There will be a well area and a sick area. So that is very important. It is crucial. So I would like to make mention, because that is very important, especially with the fact that we have many children who have, many students, I should say, who have allergies, asthma, and other conditions, and they must see the nurse. Now, I'd like to mention something that's become very controversial, returning to school. Whether you are a staff member, a faculty member, or a student, it is important that you are COVID tested before coming to school. If you have been abroad, or if you have been in any state that is on the governor's travel advisory list, we mandate the swab test. This is not something that just St. Demetrius is doing. This is something recommended by the CDC, by the New York State Department of Health, New York City Department of Health, many pediatricians that both Ms. Sedaris, Ms. Songas, and I have spoken to. If you have not left New York and your child should be going for a physical, that's really a no-brainer. The doctor will take a blood test and they can check for the antibodies. If your child did have COVID, and I suggest that they have the antibody test done, you can bring us those results. Again, if you have not left New York State, if you have left, and what shocks all of us in this room tonight is the number of families that are abroad, not just in Greece, but in other parts of Europe, in the Caribbean. There are plenty of families who decided to vacation in other states that are on the list. Please, your child must be swabbed and the results must be brought in an envelope to Ms. Dimitra to be filed. If not, they will have to quarantine for 14 days. And that goes for our teachers as well and our staff. And it brings me to the next issue, since I mentioned how many people are abroad. When we left, well, we technically didn't leave in this room, but in June, I had said that my goal was to start grades 7 through 12 on September 1st. That was my goal. The children had been out of school for enough time. They missed each other. We missed them. Academically, I was afraid that they would fall behind. And they are high school. Many of them in the 8th grade take specialized high school tests. We have our juniors and our seniors who are preparing for college and are going to maybe be caught, a little bit short in certain areas. My goal was to start on September 1st. But due to the fact that so many families are still in Greece and our inboxes have been inundated with messages that they are not coming back until Saturday or Sunday, and their children cannot be tested, within that time frame to return on the 1st. Plus, we have quite a few staff members that are still away. They're abroad, I should say. We have decided that we will delay the opening for 7 through 12. Instead of September 1st, we will hold orientation on September 8th. September 8th is a Tuesday. Orientation will be held in what is called a soft style, meaning grades 7 8, and 9 will meet in the auditorium for orientation from 10 o'clock till 11:30. And then at 12:30 till 2 o'clock will be for grades 10, 11, and 12. This is orientation on September 8th. It should have taken place on September 1st, but due to circumstances beyond our control, we are delaying it until September 8th. I apologize because I really hoped that things would be better in other parts of the country and other parts of the world, and we would be able to get started on the 1st. So we will start on the 8th. I spoke to our Reverend clergy. There will be a brief ayasmo for grades 7, 8, and 9 at 10:30 in the auditorium, and then excuse me, at 10 o'clock, and this will be posted on the website. And afterwards, once those students leave, we will sanitize the auditorium, and 10, 11, and 12 will come in for a brief ayasmo. And after after the brief ayasmo, we will speak to you a little bit more. So please be aware of that. Before I get to your questions, I just want to go over just a few other things because I threw a lot at you. Those of you who are educators or in the field have probably heard before, so you know already that you know what I'm talking about. Others, this is just a bunch of mishmash. So again, we will go through this. So going back to live instruction, 5 days a week. The schedule as of now is as follows. If your child is in grade 7, their school day will begin at 8:45 and end at 2:45. Okay, once again, grade 7, 8:45 to 2:45. Uh, as you walk into the high school building, your temperatures will be checked. They will be documented privately. Nobody else will know what your child's temperature will be. And we will have people at the door. It will be our security guards. It will be members of the faculty who will be there. And we will document your child's temperature. This will be done for grades 7 through 12. I'm focusing right now on grade 7 because for them, it's going to be an absolute new experience. They are entering through the high school doors on 30th Street. Okay, so they will enter, they will have their temperatures checked. The earliest that a 7th grader can come into the building is 8:15. Okay, so please understand. 8:15 is the earliest we will be accepting 7th, 8th, and 9th graders into the building. Their day will begin at 8:45. That is the start of first period this year. And their day will end at 2:45. If your child is in grades 8 and 9, once again, their first period will be starting at 8:45, and 8 and 9 will be getting dismissed at 2:05. Temperatures will be checked upon dismissal as well. This is not something that other schools are doing. We believe it's important to do it because we don't know if your child picked up something in the school building or whatever it might be. Things change. We are working on the schedule, and that's why registration is so important, not to give them gym at the end of the day because they get all hot and sweaty and temperatures rise. So if your child's in grade 7, their day begins at 8:45 and ends at 2:45. If your child is in grades 8 or 9, their day begins at 8:45 and ends at 2 o'clock. Okay. The older grades, grades 10, 11, grades 10 and 11, their day will begin at 9:30. The earliest they can be in the building is 9 o'clock. So if your child is in 10th and 11th grade, once again, the earliest they can be in the building is 9 o'clock, same routine, temperatures checked, etc., documented, and their day will be ending at 2 o'clock as well, a little before 2, so this way they don't meet up with the 8th and 9th graders as they're being dismissed. Our seniors, if you are a traditional senior who has made up all their classes and does not need to make up any other classes in order to graduate with the class of 2021, your day will be starting at 9:30 and it will be ending at 1 o'clock. Okay. Again, this will all be posted on the school website. I know it's a lot of information. Some of you have multiple children in these grades. I see the questions, they're being bombarded more so. I will get to your questions. If Again, if you could just refrain until I am done before you post all of your questions, because again, a lot of clarifications have to be made based on the rules that were stated in our reopening plan. And that is what is going to be going on for students who choose to come in 5 days a week. If your child is remote, a schedule will be distributed to them as well, and they will follow their class via our technology that we are using. At this time, as of today, grades 7 through 12, we have 13 students who are choosing to go remote. All of these 13 students are spread out 7 through 12, which again makes it a little bit difficult, but we will work with you. We don't want to lose your child from the St. Demetrius school system. We understand your fears, we understand your anxieties, but once again, if there is not a pre-existing health condition, if your child does not have to travel far, please reconsider about bringing them in school for learning. I can't stress this enough. Our rooms are more than adequately prepared. Our desks all have the guards up. Every room, every desk will have a guard up. Yes, your child will have to wear their mask when they walk in. Yes, your child will have to wear their mask when they walk out. In the classroom, though, we will give them the opportunity when they need to make a presentation, when they need to ask a question, to remove the mask. When they are outside having gym, the teacher will work, the gym teachers will work, and they have been instructed. They are attending, we are all attending special training given through the Archdiocese on COVID safety. They will be allowed for brief moments to remove their masks. So please, we're not here to harm anyone, but by the same token, we also need to stay safe. And that is why those guards are up on those desks. And that is why those air purifiers are in every single classroom. Um, Uniforms. I know it probably sounds very petty right now, but there were quite a few questions that I noticed about uniforms. The uniform policy for 7 through 12 was posted at the end of June. I know many of you emailed me, and you also spoke to Ms. Tsongas. Grade 7 through 12 will be going on a blue polo shirt, which it will replace the white one that they used to wear. That's both boys and girls from September until the end of October. The girls in 7th and 8th grade this year will have the option of wearing slacks beginning November 1st. This has to do with the fact that we have many children who commute. And for the girls, they feel more comfortable with slacks. So they will be able to wear slacks from November until the end of April. The long sleeve blue shirts will be worn from November for both boys and girls from November until the end of April. On gym days, and only on gym days, the students may come in with their St. Demetrius gym shirt and appropriate pants. So gray, blue, gray, navy, or black sweats and sneakers, only on the days that they have gym. We are going to be offering gym across the board, 7 through 12. Some classes will have it once a week, some classes will have it twice a week. Again, this depends on the number of students. Okay, obviously, if we have a grade of uh, close to 40 students, the way we do in the 10th and 11th grade, which are two biggest grades at this moment, along with the 7th grade, they will have gym less than a grade that only has 15 students. Again, this will be posted on your child's schedule, God willing, once they come in on the 8th for orientation. So full uniform. If any of you have the chance and you want to speak to anybody whose child attends St. Francis or Malloy, they will tell you that the students that go on remote also have to be in their uniform. So I am going to follow, and Mr. Stasinos agreed with me, as did Father Nectarios and Mr. Papamichael, our Catholic counterparts. And if your child is going remote, we expect them to be in uniform. We don't expect them to be in their pajamas. We don't expect them to be extremely comfortable. We want them to actually be proud of attending St. Demetrius. We want them in their uniform. Okay, so please be aware of that. And again, for gym, the gym shirt may be purchased from the high school office from Miss Dimitra. The cost is $20. We don't have a specific pants, so blue, black, or gray sweats and sneakers. Okay, so I wanted to bring that because it was a big question. And by the way, our uniform company is still Flynn and O'Hara. So please order online if you are having difficulties and cannot afford the uniform. They are actually working with us to give small discounts to families. You can mention that you're from St. Demetrius and they are working with us. Our seniors that graduated, I really want to thank parents that had seniors who have younger children in the school. Uh, they have returned slightly used uniforms. If any of you need blazers, because blazers are required, the navy blue blazer with the school seal on it. If you are in need of blazers, we have plenty of blazers in all sizes. So please call, make an appointment, and come in with your child to try on a blazer. I have skirts for girls. I have pants for boys, pants for girls, shirts. Please just call and we will gladly give you any uniforms that were returned to us. And they are in very good shape. They've been cleaned. You can clean them again, of course, but we have plenty to give out. The girls in 7th and 8th grade do no longer need to wear the ties, the crisscross ties. So let me bring that to your attention. And the boys in 7th and 8th grade can wear their navy blue tie, or they can pick any blue tie that they want to wear. So again, I wanted to bring that forward. As far as the scheduling is concerned, your children will be getting the 5 major subjects and they will also be getting electives as well. We are not a school, and Ms. Sedaris has said this all the time, we are not a school that believes in cutting back in the fine arts. So we are working on the schedule, again, depending on registration, where your child will get either art or music. They will be getting some type of computer class. Our incoming 8th grade, we are setting up a coding class for them. It is very popular in other schools. We spoke to Mr. Wittenstein and Mr. Filiakos. They liked the idea. So our 8th graders will be taking coding. And especially now it's the in thing for girls. So maybe the girls will become more excited about computers. So that is something new that we are offering to the 8th grade. Trips. Trips are a no-go at this point. New York City does not allow it. New York State says to avoid it. So there will be no school trips until further notice. I know that our 7th graders lost out on their trip to Philadelphia. Again, I was hoping to get it to have the trip done in November for the children who would be 8th graders because they're the ones who missed out on it. I am working with Gerber Tours. If November doesn't work, we will have it in the spring. So again, we are taking it day by day. I think Mr. Papa Michael, like when I had spoken to him, because we've been speaking a lot over the summer, when I said to him, it will be a lot of trial and error. He understood, and I'm hoping you understand as well. We don't have perfect plans, but we have plans that are way better than the public schools. Uh, they are comparable to the more expensive private parochial schools and non-public schools. I know to some of you, you're thinking, well, it's all talk. But please, if you don't feel comfortable with what I'm telling you, or you choose, to say I'm an employee, I get a paycheck, I have to tell this to you. I have a child who's going into the 11th grade. If I did not feel safe to send her here, I would tell you, this is not the place. I would have her do remote and I would be doing it from a public school, but I'm not. My daughter's an 11th grader. She looks forward to coming back. The teachers look forward to welcoming back the students. We are doing our very best to make sure everyone stays safe. If there is a breakdown of the system, meaning the following, if a child does get sick, we are following New York City and New York State protocols. And of course, most importantly, the Centers of Disease Control, CDC. If one child gets sick in a classroom, we will be shutting down that class, and I'll go over that in detail. If more than one child or staff member gets sick, we will have to shut down the part of the building where the children were in. So again, God forbid a child gets sick in the ninth grade, which is only using the high school side of the building. We will shut down for the amount of time told by us by New York State and New York City, just for the high school side. It will not impact the lower elementary school at St. Catherine's or the elementary school next door, unless that child has a sibling. If there is a sibling involved, it's a whole new ball game. So please understand that. Again, we are working with all of the authorities on this. If you notice that your child wakes up with any symptoms, especially over a 99.9 temperature in the morning, do not send them to school. If your child is having problems breathing, if your child has a nagging cough, a bad sinus infection that's not going away, as a parent, consider your child. I know you have to go to work. Consider what your child is going through, and then consider everybody else's child and the teachers in the building. We do not need children getting sick. There is going to be a lot of, I think that with flu season also approaching, there will be a lot of questions. Is it COVID? Is it flu? What is it? We are going to rely on our pediatricians in the area. All of us in this room have good relations with Dr. Tsumpariotis and Glendale Pediatrics, with Dr. Marquizos, with Dr. Giordano. They work with us, we work with them. And we also are very fortunate that we have doctors that are primary care physicians that always ask us, is there anything we can do for you? And if need be, we will call upon them for assistance. We will be sanitizing um, during the day, and we will be doing a mass sanitizing in the evening. So please be aware of that as well. We have a cleaning company that will be with us during the day, along with our custodians, members of the cleaning company. And then we will have a cleaning company that will be in the building after 5 o'clock to sanitize the entire, both buildings, middle school and high school. We still are going to have afternoon school. We are working on the program. It may have to change. Miss Agai is responsible. We're going to work together. I think the less people in the building after a certain time, the safer we're all going to feel. We are working on our after school program. We are hoping to get it going, but our priority right now is the day school. And again, I hate to sound selfish, but Miss Songas and I, and of course Miss Sedaris as well, but especially Miss Songas and I, since we are in this building, we have to keep the children safe. They are our responsibility from the moment you drop them off in the morning at 8 or 8:15 until the afternoon when you pick them up. So we need to keep them safe, and we don't want anybody getting sick afterwards, whether it's because they were, afternoon school extended its hours, or whether the after school program ran longer than it should, etc. But again, we are working with both Miss Agab, we are working with Hanik. We want to give as much as we can to the children to continue their routines. So please, again, please be aware of that. Now, I'll get to some of your questions. Many of you did mail in email questions, so I thank you for doing that. One of the questions had to do with lunch, which is a very good question. We are offering lunch to our students through the New York City Department of Education. It is a grab and go lunch, meaning the following. The children will be given their lunch bag, unless your child wants to bring lunch from home, and the grades 7, 8, and 9 will be eating separately from grades 10 and 11. Seniors will not have lunch unless they have a long day. At this time, we are using the auditorium. It is large enough to accommodate. For those of you who were here for graduation, you notice that we were able to accommodate 150 people, social distancing, without anybody getting hurt or anybody's health being jeopardized. Our auditorium is big enough. Tables will be set up with 3 to 4 children at each table. Mr. Stasinos, our Dean of Students, will be monitoring both lunches. They will be held at different times. Your children will be going to the auditorium. They must wear their masks as they're entering the auditorium, and as they're leaving. Of course, they're going to have their masks off when they're eating. The lunch ladies will deliver the lunch to them. Again, it is grab and go. A salad and a sandwich, most likely. And again, your child can feel free for your child to bring lunch from home. Uh, Tell your child to avoid sharing their lunch. Again, cross contamination. If your child has allergies, it is important that we know so we don't seat them next to a child that may have, I don't know, a penchant for eating peanut butter or whatever it might be. So that's equally as important. So yes, there will be lunch, 2 lunch periods, one for 7, 8, and 9, and one for 10, 11, and 12. Next question I had that was very popular is lockers. We will not be using lockers until at least the end of November, beginning of December, just checking how this crisis progress is. If it does regress, then we will open lockers. The reason we're not using lockers is because the lockers are located in the hallways and children like to congregate by their lockers and talk, etc. No, no lockers. That is why I said when textbooks are issued, they will either keep them at home or they will be kept in the classrooms. And yes, digital versions of books will be available. The school supply lists have been posted. I'd like to apologize if your child is in grades 9 through 12. It took a little bit longer to post it. I blame myself, but it's basically common sense in 9 through 12. You're not going to need a marble notebook. You're going to need your binders, etc. So, it's more or less common sense. For 7th and 8th graders, the lists were provided for the incoming 7 and the incoming 8th. The lists were provided to the children when they picked up their summer assignments. Yes, boys and girls, if you're listening, summer assignments are still due on the 9th, COVID or no COVID. So please make sure that you have your summer assignments done. Okay, you should have read your books and done your math. So that will be your first grade. Again, something's never changed with the COVID or no COVID. So please be aware of that. If your child is going remote, then I ask that they email the work or you bring in the work to the teacher on the 9th. Extracurricular activities. We are planning on continuing with the extracurricular activities, but they will not start until after the middle of October. So we will continue with our debate club, our drama club, chess, uh, Greek dance. Well, Greek dance is still a question mark because of proximity, but I'm sure we'll be able to do something. Again, after school extracurricular activities, not until the middle of October. That would be the earliest. There will not be any sports. So for JV, boys basketball, soccer for the varsity teams, JV girls basketball. At this time, there are no sports. Mr. Stasinos, who is our athletic director, will be reaching out to you as soon as the okay is given to begin sports again. The other item that I would like to address is many of you had the question, will your children be going from class to class? If your child is in grades 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, they will be going from class to class. 5-minute breaks in between periods to go to class. We ask the students not to dawdle in the hallways. Again, the social distance monitors, those teachers will be in the hallways telling the students to move along. At this time, the 7th graders will be in cohorts. They will be staying in their room. A few parents had called. I'm going to be honest with you, at the beginning, I thought to myself, well, maybe they're babying them a lot, etc. But I can see where they're coming from. So for now, the 7th graders will be staying in classrooms. What classrooms? I don't know yet because I don't know if I'm going to have 2 7th grade classes or 3 7th grade classes. So that's important. Let me stress why grades 9 through 12 need to walk about. I have some 11th graders who may have to take a class with the seniors because they are ahead academically. I have some seniors who may need to make up credits that they failed in 9th and 10th grade, so they have to walk and be with groups of students that are in the 9th and 10th grade. So this is something that you need to understand. Again, 8 through 12 will be walking to and from classes. 7th grade at this time will be in cohorts. How will your children be split? Again, this is something that I'm going to be discussing with last year's 6th grade teachers. If your child was in the 6th grade last year, I will see how we will divide them. Chances are I may just do it alphabetically and see where it takes us, or we may do it by levels. I will be speaking with Ms. Pandaleo and Mr. Coyle because it's English and math that really counts. Some of you had questions about Greek. This always comes up. We are very fortunate in that our Greek department is one of the largest in the school. Compliments of the Greek government. They send us Greek teachers. So we will be having remedial Greek classes for grades 7 through 12. I stress this because some of you become very concerned and your child can't keep up with the Greek, doesn't understand the Greek. We will have one teacher solely for remedial Greek, and most of the work will be done via computer, via technology. So I hope this makes you feel better. Please understand, if your child has been in St. Demetrius since kindergarten, they will not be in remedial Greek. There is no reason why a 10th grader should come to me when I know that they've been with Miss Sedaris and they say, I don't understand Miss Sindila or I don't understand Miss Souza. Something just isn't right. Remedial Greek is for our newest students where their parents want them to get a Greek American education, where there is no Greek spoken at home. They may not even be of Greek descent, and they want them to learn the language and the culture. This is who remedial Greek is for. I can't stress that enough. And I know, again, I am going to have my detractors, but I really want to stress that. So there will be remedial Greek. Speaking of remediation, we will have Title One. Title One is being offered by the City of New York. It will be done remotely. As soon as we have more information, I will pass it on to you, which means the following. If your child is entitled to Title One extra help in math and or English, there is no embarrassment now. Your child will go online on their computer, they'll bring in their laptop, they'll sit in the library, there'll be a monitor in here, and they will be able to do Title One remotely. So I wanted to mention that as well, because I always had a problem where the students would go home and say, the famous, Miss Karayorgos placed me with the dumb kids to get extra help. No. If your grades were not up to par and you are entitled to Title One, you should really take advantage of it. We've seen students really progress with Title One, the ones that take it seriously. And again, we will be offering Title One. High school students, again, will be entering and exiting from 30th Street. We also will be using the parking lot for an exit. If you are picking up your child by car, or if your child is taking car service to go home, they will exit from the main high school doors. If your child is walking home or taking the subway home, they will be leaving from the parking lot. Again, this is for grades 7 through 12 only that I'm discussing right here. If your child is getting picked up by car, by a grandparent, by car service, or by yourself, they will exit from the high school doors. If your child is walking home alone or taking the subway, they will leave through the parking lot. And there will be a person by the parking lot doors and a person by the high school doors as well, checking their temperature as they leave and then sending them on their merry way. Okay, so we went through that as well. Some of some of the parents have asked me about after school tutoring. Yes, it will be available. Our teachers are required to do after school tutoring. It is part of their contract. A schedule will go out, but the size will be limited. It will no longer be 10 or 15 students sitting in a class getting a review for a literature exam. It'll be broken down into maybe 5 in a group. So we will do that. We will be having a peer tutoring and after school tutoring with the teachers. There will be PSAT and SAT prep as well. We find it has worked. We find that the parents do save money when we offer PSAT and SAT prep here at St. Demetrius instead of having the children run to Kaplan or Princeton or any other group that is offering that. We do not offer SHASAT prep. So if your child is an 8th grader, we we are not offering Shasat prep. You would do that on your own for the specialized high school. I see a question from a parent. Will there be remote after school help? Again, this is something that the teacher will work out with you and the student once we get started. So we are working on getting remote after school help. There was also another question about HANIC. HANIC After School is a community program. Mr. Papamichael has been in touch with their director. And again, we will be bringing it back in some capacity. We want to bring it back. The children enjoyed it. But again, my priority right now and Ms. Songas's priority is to get the day school going and putting a program in place. Okay. Uh, the other thing I mentioned, keeping your child at home if they're not feeling well. We went over the uniforms again, school trips. We can't do anything. Miss Sedaris and Miss Songas were talking before, and I sort of eavesdropped. We don't know anything about bus service just yet for grades K through 6. There is no bus service for the older children, so that doesn't apply to 7 through 12. So we don't know what's happening with the buses yet, and I don't think we will know anything about the buses until public schools open. As far as holidays are concerned, Miss Lori actually got a question from someone. If we are closed on Jewish holidays, St. Demetrius is a private parochial school that has never shut down for Jewish holidays. Um, Please understand, again, COVID or no COVID, this question I think came out of the blue. And what was funny is that it's a parent who's been in our system for a while. So I don't understand. We are closing for the traditional holidays, the way New York City traditionally does, and for our own. St. Demetrius Day, for example, Greek Independence Day. Okay. So no, teachers who are of the Jewish faith and need to take off may do so. If your child is from if your child comes from an interfaith family, absolutely feel free. They can take the day off. We are not here to squash anybody's faith or put down anybody, but we are not shutting down the entire school for those holidays. We will follow our calendar as is right now. Veterans Day, Memorial Day, Greek Independence Day, etc. Ms. Dimitra and I sat today, and we are almost done with the calendar as far as days off are concerned. At this time, we cannot plan assemblies, we cannot plan shows because we do not know what is coming in the long run. So the calendar that will be posted is basic. It will state when the quarters end, when your child will be getting report cards, when you will be able to access report cards, and the days that they will be off during the school year. As far as state exams are concerned, New York State has not decided just yet if they will do away with state exams this year. I say this only because today I had a conversation with a parent of a student in the upper grades and they asked about regions. Big question mark on regions for January, a smaller question mark for regions in June. If New York State needs to shut down schools, not just New York City, New York State, so whether it's the Lake Placid region, Buffalo, New York City, if they need to shut down for longer than 2 weeks, a month, etc., state exams most likely will not be given. So I can hear the yays from kids right here. I'm hoping that we don't have a crisis and we will be able to give state exams. So that is still up in the air. As soon as we know, we are not going to keep it a secret. We will let you know because you need to prepare your children and our teachers need to prepare as well. Very important, how many students in a classroom at this time? A classroom in the high school can fit anywhere from 14 to 16 students with the guards on the desks and of course with the social distancing in place. Since we do have the guards on the desk, it's not truly necessary to be 6 feet apart. We can get away with 4 feet apart. If it means squeezing in an extra desk, so be it. For the middle school tomorrow, Ms. Tsongas will go into greater detail, but I think Ms. Tsongas, it's about 12 to 14 in the middle school. Yes, okay, anywhere from 12 to 14. And high school, Mr. Tidakos, 14 to 16, right? Close to it? Okay, so that is the average class size, which works out well for us because there are very few classes where we divide children. This year it's going to be 9-1, 9-2. We never do what Catholic schools do and lump 30 kids in a classroom to save teachers. St. Demetrius is okay with saying, you know what, we're going to have 15 students per classroom, again, with or without the virus coming into play. There are directional arrows on every floor. This way the students know how to move around easily. I mentioned about the entrances for the high school as well, and about dismissal and arrival, about the traveling as well. Our staff is being trained. Yesterday, there was a training on cybersecurity. I would have hoped it was a little bit more detailed. It was okay, but it could have been a little bit better. Tomorrow, they will be attending a webinar on social emotional aspects having to do with COVID. I really think this is just as important as traditional learning and getting your A, B's, and C's. There's no reason for a teacher to have to go off on a student because they remove their mask for a few seconds. Teachers are going to be patient. I give you my word. The children also have to be patient with their teachers. Please don't rattle them. If the teacher asks you, please put on your mask. You've had it off for a little bit. Please put it back on. If you feel the need to step out because you need more air, raise your hand and the teacher will let you step outside, go to the restroom. And again, the social distance monitor will be there to assist you. The other question, I think I've covered almost all of the questions that were sent to me. As far as remote, please don't flip flop, meaning the following. If you decide that your child is going remote on September 4th or 3rd or whatever, don't come back to me on September 13th and say, oopsies, I'm sending them in. Please make a decision and stick with it. I think Ms. Sedaris and I said, and Ms. Songas, for the quarter at least. Yes. Okay. Yes, for the quarter. This is something we've agreed upon. The quarter ends the second week of November, because I calculated the weeks with Ms. Dimitra. So if you choose for your child to go remote, again, they will have to stay remote for the quarter. If you choose for your child to come into school 5 days a week, they will come to school 5 days a week, unless, God forbid, they get sick or a member of your family gets sick, something like that. So please understand, we welcome the children to come back, to traditional learning after the first quarter. Okay. I had another question here. Why are the students going from class to class? As I explained, if your child is in grades 9 through 12, they have to go from class to class because they may be making up classes at different grade levels. So I see that question was posed twice. And another question is, when is our first day? Orientation will be on the 8th. And a parent asked if they are welcome to join their child for orientation. We have to cap off the auditorium to 150. So again, if we got to check the number of students that register, and that again is up to you. You have to let us know if you are registering your children. Okay? Yes. Yes, that's what I was going into. I saw this one, and that's why I said I reiterated the 8th. Yes. Will the bathrooms have air filter machines? We are working on that. Am I correct? For the bathrooms to have air filter machines? I see that. I'm taking them also, Father, from here with UV, the air filters. So that's important. I have here, what shoes do the 7th grade girls need? Basic black shoes at this point, no sneakers except during gym. Do students have to wear their face mask while sitting at their desks? We said yes, but they can remove them to ask questions, to pose questions, to give presentations. And since the desks do have window guards, they will be allowed to remove them for a couple of seconds. Okay, let me get to this one. The children that have been away need to get tested. Everyone again needs to get tested. If you have been abroad, It is the swab test. If you have been in New York and your child already had COVID, we will accept the antibody test. Okay. Uh, Again, we are doing orientation on the 8th, and there will Father Nectario and Father Nicholas will be with us for a brief ayesmo. Can a child start out as a remote learner and come back later traditional? The answer is yes, at the end of the first quarter. Oh, thank you. Bravo to St. Demetrius for a detailed safety plan. Thank you, Ms. Panas. Do students have to, we did about the mask, student laptops during school time. At this time, we are hoping to get some funding to bring in Chromebooks. We are not using laptops at this time. The older students, 10th and 11th graders, we may start with them where they can bring in their laptops. This is something I have to discuss with the faculty. As well. I have a question here. If a child or family member gets sick, can the child switch to remote learning? Yes, that's a given. Absolutely. And is it full uniform on the first day? Yes, you've been out of uniform for a while, so yes, full uniform for the first day. And I apologize, that's a new parent. Let me see here. Okay. Ninth graders, I have a question about the ninth graders. Ninth graders are taking, depending on their levels, we will have ninth graders. If they took algebra last year as eighth graders, they will review algebra for a little bit and go into geometry. And ninth graders traditionally do biology. So all ninth graders will do biology. 10th graders, based on their math levels, will be split into chemistry and earth science. Again, that will be on your child's schedule. Okay, get the shoes. Okay. I think, Father, I'm getting to all of them. I've scrolled upwards, downwards. Uh, yes, I did the mask while sitting at the desks. Shoes. Oh, can children wait in the library? Yes. This will be an area where they can wait to be picked up by a parent. Again, we will have an after-school program for 6, 7, and 8. But if it's an older student that needs to get picked up by a parent, absolutely. Social distancing in the library also. Thank you, Ms. Rondos, for that. Um, let's see. And yes, you have to have your results before coming into school. So please, the results of your COVID test, that's important. Let's see. I see that we have some parents who work in public schools that seem pleased with what we're doing. So I thank you for your support for that, for our public school counterparts. Anything else you see, Father, that I don't? Because if they haven't left New York all summer, they should have the physical. Yes, that's what I just went through. They should have, when they have their physical done, they have their blood test, and it will state, the pediatrician will run for a negative or positive antibodies. And how many days before must COVID test be taken? We've spoken to several pediatricians. Mrs. Sedaris, what have they said? How many days before? Yes, 5 to 10 days. I have another question here. How will you ensure all children who went abroad will get tested and stay home? Okay, this is a very good question. I thank Ms. Tsuros for posing it. We are going to have to really hope that for the safety of their own children and for the safety of everyone else, that they will be honest enough to go have their child tested. So I really am hoping that they do take that route. There is no reason why this basic test cannot be done. Uh, Feeling confident. Thank you, Miss Lou. Oh, yes. Thank you. Immunization forms should be bought in. We will have a new nurse on on our staff. We may even end up having two nurses based on the hours and based on our staggered learning. Please, there was a rumor that went out, I don't know where it originated, that school would be starting at noon for the older children and they would be ending at 5 p.m. No, that I don't know where that originated. And no, it's the hours that I gave you, ladies and gentlemen. The older children will be out the latest 2:15, 2:30. And if there is going to be after school, the teachers will notify your child. I have a question about physicals. It needs to be an updated physical, please. So an updated physical will be anything from the summer until now. I know doctors are very busy. Uh, so if your child had a physical done right before Christmas, I would like them to at least have the antibody tests done if they stayed in New York. I have, okay, I'm sorry. Yes. Oh, yes. If you would like your child to go on remote learning, you must notify Miss Lori admissions@sdprep.org or call her by Monday, the 31st, please. Now that we've changed the opening of orientation to the 8th, it leaves us some leeway. So please, if you were not considering sending your child to St. Demetrius at all, and now that you heard about our plans and this has changed your mind, please speak to Miss Lori. You can drop off the COVID test results to Miss Dimitra. Please, Miss, you should use the middle school entrance. Those doors are open. Miss Vaso will take your temperature and then we'll let you come in. What applies to the children also applies to the adults. Okay, let's see about EpiPens. That's something that would be the first day when the nurse is with us. Um, let's see, high school adequate. 8:15 a.m. arrival is a big problem. Uh, I don't, that's early, yeah, but it's still a big problem for some parents. I don't have an answer right now. I'm sorry, I don't have an answer because I don't know how much staff I'm gonna have here to service students. Yes, I'm gonna have to get back to, no, I'm going through all the questions here with Faber. That's why. I understand what this parent means, that they don't have the luxury of having somebody to do drop off. Uh, we'll do our best, especially, I don't know if we are going to have a breakfast program, which is another thing. If we had a breakfast program, we could get maybe somebody to sit with the students. Again, this has to do with staffing as well. And again, the children would do a grab and go. They can't sit in the cafeteria and eat. That's a that's a no-go. Um, so the COVID test results should be brought in before the 8th. Let's be sure on that. Okay, they have to, otherwise your child cannot be at orientation. So before the 8th. Can we email the test results? Yes, you may. The email for the test results, office@sdprep.org. Once again, office@sdprep.org. I have another question about the antibody test. Again, please speak to your pediatrician and they will basically walk you through the process. On orientation day, what time do the students get dismissed? If your child is in grades 7, 8, and 9, orientation will be from 10 to 11:30. If your child is in grades 10, 11, and 12, orientation will be from noon. Yes, from 12 to 1:30. Okay. And again, we are going to post this online on our school website. I think, Father, I may have gotten everyone, right? Yes, I saw that. Yes, that we can accommodate because Yes, because it's probably, yes, I saw the parent. It's a seventh grader and an 11th grader. That's doable because I have enough staff in the building. Okay. Would the children leave after orientation? Yes, they are going to leave after orientation. That's what orientation is for. Uh, okay. I think, Faber, did I get everything? I'm going to get to that now. I just want to make sure that I got all their questions and all of my questions as well that I had written here. Okay. Again, I am not as tech savvy as Faber Nicholas is, or Mr. Tiliakos or Miss Songas. God bless them. I wish everything were still on pen and paper, but they're not. So I, again, I don't mean that, Mr. Darris. I'm sorry. You too. You're tech savvy too. Sorry. I'm sorry. I we are getting a new program that will make it um, easier for your child if they are going to go on remote learning to access remote learning. I also want to bring into point the following. If your child gets services from New York City, whether it's for speech or whether it's for sets, um, the provider will try and work with you if your child is going to be remote. This may pose a difficulty. Uh, Sets providers, we all receive notification, and speech providers as well, that they are allowed to work with up to 2 students at a time. No longer can they pull out 5 kids at a time and work with them, or 4 children at a time to work with them. It would have to be individual. So if your child was getting speech therapy from Miss Marilena, who I'm pleased to say is rejoining us, or grades 4 through 12. If your child was getting speech therapy and they were seeing her as a part of a team, now they will be seeing her alone. So this is a rule that was given to us by the Department of Education that they were very firm on. But if your child is going to be remote, again, this is going to pose an issue for the sets provider. They will try and work with your child, but the ideal situation would be for that child to be in school if they were receiving services. Okay. Again, about this COVID testing, I don't know how much clearer I can be. Again, if your child has been abroad or to any state that's on that list, they must be swabbed. We prefer if everyone gets swabbed, but if you have not left New York, please have the antibody test done along with the physical. It's on the health plan. It's on the school website as well. Yes, we're following CDC, New York State DOH. I was joking with Father Nectario before. Christianity has just the Bible. This COVID-19 is forcing us to have 4 Bibles for reopening. We have Department of Health of New York State, Department of Health of New York City. We have the CDC, and we have the New York State Department of Education. Okay. Somebody asked September 9th through 11th, will it be full days of school? That's our goal at this time, to have school September 9, 10, and 11 for the children to be in. I know Miss Sedaris and Miss Songas are starting on the 10th. Again, you have to understand the older children have to get used to a new routine because, again, we don't know what the road holds for the future as far as testing is concerned. Um, I think we're okay. The platform that we're going to be using is Schoology. Uh, and we will be starting with Zoom for 7 through 12. And we will be going into a Schoology if your child is going remote. And again, our teachers are receiving training on it next week after they're done with their webinars on COVID safety. And you will be receiving information as well on how to access it. Speaking of accessing, all 3 of us, have had an issue with parents receiving emails, and we are working on it. Miss Lori was able to put together a list server with the emails that you gave for TADS. I am having, again, a lot of issues, and it has nothing to do with parents who are separated, divorced, or it has to do with a lot with the parents who are either opting out or parents who don't share email with their spouses. On the list server, it is the parent that is on TADS that is getting the email. On School Messenger, it is the parent whose email was untrackable. So at this time, some parents are getting both the emails, some are getting one email, some are getting no emails. It shouldn't be a problem. Somebody should be receiving an email. There is no reason why you should not be receiving an email from either the admissions office or from Messenger. Because again, this list server was created. So please check with your spouses as well. I have a question from a parent. What will happen if a teacher gets sick? According to New York State policy, if the teacher gets sick, they must inform administration. I must inform local authorities, and the teacher that I'm sorry, and the children that were with that teacher, their families will be notified. We will have to shut down that teacher's room, and we will keep the children out of that room and out of the school building for at least 24 hours. Yes, yes, and we are screening the staff as they're coming in as well. Please understand that. It's not just the children who are going to get their temperatures checked. The faculty and the staff will also be screened as well. Okay, so that was a good question. Thank you for that. Let's see. If your child is coming to school 5 days a week, you need to notify the school? No, they don't have to. It is just the ones that are going on remote. And again, that would be by Monday. I would like to congratulate all of the students who received academic merit scholarships this year. We gave out a record amount of aid to those children, not because they're, pretty, not because of, the fact that we know their parents or their parents are extremely generous to the clergy or whatever it might be, or they're related to somebody on the school board. We gave academic merit scholarships based on their records, their grades. They had to maintain at least a 95 GPA. They had to have good conduct, good discipline, and they also had to write a brief essay and get at least 2 references. So I would like to commend the children who received these academic merit scholarships. Miss Lori and I stayed. We went over them. We had as a third person to check them, just so they don't think we favor anyone. We had a teacher also who sat and read the essays, and we were able to allocate money for grades 7 through 12 anywhere from 10% up to 30%. So congratulations to those students. And again, the application was available through the middle of July. So for the students who took advantage of it, you did a great job. And some of your essays were truly very touching. They showed a lot of pride for Saint Demetrius. There is also financial aid that is being given as well. Mr. Papa Michael, along with Father Nectarios, Mr. Sideris, and members of the school board have dispensed an extraordinary amount of aid in the past few months. I know that some of you, when we gave the 10% discount in April, it was April, May, and June, if I'm not mistaken, the 10%, April and May, because June is correct in the grouping. April and May, some of you asked, what is 10%? 10% could be a trip to the grocery store. Not many schools gave a lot of financial aid, but we did do so. And sometimes it is to a detriment to the community, but we gave financial aid. We are continuing to give financial aid. There is no embarrassment if you have been laid off, if your hours have been cut, if it means that you have to remove your child that has been here since pre-K and send them to another school and they don't want to go. Please contact us, contact Lori. I need to apologize to several parents that I didn't touch base with. There was a death in my family, a beloved aunt. I know some of you have been calling yesterday and today. I didn't have a chance to call everyone back today. I will be returning phone calls on Thursday. The fact that I'm here tonight, I, I don't know. I had to do it. So I'm here tonight for your children. I'm here for my child as well, because they need to feel safe. So again, we are giving financial aid. We want your children to stay here. So please, work with us and we will work with you. I think there's a parent who is asking about blended learning. Blended learning, hybrid learning, more or less the same. We are not offering that. It's either the 5 days a week again or the remote learning. We are not going to be doing hybrid learning. Okay. Let me see. I think we had questions. I will get back to the parent who wants to know about the 7:45 drop off uh, as soon as I know. Miss Lori would like to please please log on to your TADS and double check your email, please. Okay, and I have another parent who unfortunately lost power. Let me go over again about dismissal. If you are picking up your child, and I believe the parent has an incoming 8th grader, if you're picking up your child by car, or if they're going to be taking car service, they exit from the high school doors on 30th Street. If not, if they are walking home or if they are taking the subway through the parking lot. Okay, and yes. Thank you. Yes, and school messenger, absolutely. If you're having a problem with school messenger, and I really do want to apologize, there's several parents, and it has, part of it may have to do with us, but we've also heard that it has to do with their own provider. Their own provider isn't accepting text messages from that number. Okay, okay, okay. Best person to call is Vaso? Okay, thank you, Ms. Songas. Okay, so if you are having a problem with a school messenger, if you could call directly 718 726 6620. Again, 718 726 6620. Like I said, Ms. Songas is tech savvy, so thank you, Ms. Songas. Because I know some of you have had difficulties with that as well. Okay, so we covered financial aid, we covered the merit aid. Again, about the masks, yes, the masks for safety precautions in class. But if your child, we have plenty of children who are slightly asthmatic, who have sinus conditions, etc. They can pull their masks down for a few seconds. Nobody is going to, yell at them. We're going to speak to the teachers. Again, that's the whole reason we put the safety guards on all of the desks and around the teacher's desk as well. Okay, let me see now. If it isn't easy to find a COVID testing centers, that's another reason why we're delaying opening until the 8th. When your child gets back, I know it usually takes anywhere from 7 to 10 days. So please, as soon as possible. And I had this discussion as well with faculty members. Excuse me, City MD, right? Okay, so yes, City MD would probably be your best bet at this point, or your child's pediatrician. Okay, last year's credit of 10%. That is something that Miss Lori would be able to help you with, Mr. Papa Michael. If they had paid in full last year, the 10% gets applied to this year's tuition. Correct. Correct. Okay, the 10%, yes, if you paid in full last year and you're registering for this year, you will get the 10%. Does not get lost. If you want to pay tuition in full, you get in touch again with Miss Lori at admissions, and you get the 5% for you get the 5% for paying tuition in full. Uh, Yes, City MD, thank you for that. Quite a few parents have gone to City MD. Quite a few of our teachers have gone to City MD, and some have even gone to urgent care as well. Um, if there is an issue with TADS and your tuition agreement, please, again, you can contact Ms. Laurie. Her email is admissions@sdprep.org. Remote learning, yes, they can come in for remote learning afterwards. Okay, I think I covered everything. So it would apply to September and October. Yes, for those 2 months, correct. Yes, thank you for that. The 10%, if you did not use it last April and May, it will apply to September and October. Correct. All of our emails are posted on the school website. The school website is sdprep.org. So you can go on there, you can find our plans, and I will also be posting the times for orientation as well. And again, if you could inform your friends, family members that may be in Greece or in Europe or in a state that's on that list, please let them know that we are postponing it till the 8th. This doesn't mean that they're going to come back to New York on Labor Day and take a hop, skip, and jump to St. D on the 8th. No, they should get back as soon as possible and have their COVID testing done. Please, we need the COVID test. If your child has not had it, I ask that you have it done. You have extra time now. Today's the 25th. Please, a simple physical will not do. We need the COVID test if they have been out of New York, and the antibody test if they've stayed in New York or if they've been through COVID before. Okay. Gentlemen, any questions? Any questions that you want? We have a few more minutes. Any questions before? I think I covered everything that I had to cover. Um, yes, yes. Tomorrow, tomorrow night is grades 4 through 6. Am I correct? Yes, 4 through 6 is tomorrow night. Uh, yes, that's a good idea. Maybe we should do that. Yeah. Uh, please. I think I think it's a good idea, if Miss Sedaris agrees that this way we're all stay safe. Like I said, we are getting a new nurse. We are getting a nurse. The nurse that we had unfortunately left for personal reasons before COVID. So she left. We had temps up until COVID. And then what happened was we put in a request for a nurse, and we were told because we were going to be on a staggered schedule that they would work to maybe even give us 2 nurses. Again, when I had spoken to the DOH and had said about a staggered schedule, they were under the impression that it would be like it was, I guess, in the 60s or 70s when, there was night classes, etc. So that's why they had said to me, that we would thank you for that, that we would maybe get an afternoon nurse as well. So as long as we get a nurse, we are good to go. What if we stayed in New York and my child did the swab testing for COVID? Does he still need? No. If your child has the COVID test, please, once again, bring us the results back. That's all I can tell you. We are in agreement on another item that we are going to ask parents to provide us with an affidavit that that they were not abroad or were not in a different state. Because it's unfortunate that, again, parents are telling other parents who come and tell us that how is Miss Karayorgos going to know that I was in Kavala all summer? Or how is Miss Karayorgos going to know that I was at Disney? So we'll be asking for an affidavit. I think we're in agreement now. This will protect both the faculty, the staff, and the other students. Okay, so yes, thank you for that. I think this way we're all covered. And this way it will fall, the blame, I hate to use the word blame, but at least we'll know who's responsible or not. We were in a different state almost 2 months ago. Uh, Again, if it was the state that's on that list, you need to have either the COVID test done or the blood test. But again, I think how many states are on that list, Mrs. Dares? About 18? 18 out of 50 states are on that list, or is it 21? 31. Yes, okay. 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 Yes, orientation, once again, a schedule will be put out uh, for the children in grades 7 through 12. If your child is in grades 7, 8, and 9, orientation will be in orientation for 7th, 8th, and 9th grade will start at 10 and go till 11:30. Orientation for 10, 11, and 12 will start at 12:30 and go until 2 o'clock. Okay. Gentlemen, any questions? Anything that you think I didn't go through? I wanted to also touch upon our faith. Um, there will be religion in school. We are very fortunate that our clergy has worked with us all summer. We have clergy that is dynamic, that want to welcome the children back. There will be religion, and religion classes will take place in school. Um, I also want to stress that if your child is going to be on remote, they will have to follow the religion program. So let me just put it out there as well. So please don't have your child tune out when there is religion. Religion, depending on the grade level, will be either once or twice a week, depending on the availability of the clergy. Our religion schedule usually starts in October, so we have some time to work with Father Nectarios and Father Nicholas on when the children will be meeting with the clergy. We will not be taking the children to church in large groups. This will not happen until we get the okay from the CDC and New York State Department of Health. So there will not be group church service grades 4 through 12. Those days, unfortunately, are gone. That used to be nice that we could all pray together as one family, one community, but it's not going to happen. When they need to go to church, they will be going by grade. So please be aware of that. So, and we will notify you in advance that on September 29th or whatever it is, ninth grade will be going to church. On October 5th, 11th grade will be going to church. And again, this will be based on the program of the clergy and of course that they have no other services. Yes. Okay. Make an appointment. Yes. And that is also stated on the plan, on the website, that, and Miss Lori also emailed it, excuse me, it's not on the website, but she emailed it to the parents, that they will need to make an appointment to come, into the building. So if, you need to, again, pick up maybe a uniform item, you wanna drop off, your child's test results instead of emailing them. If you want to email them, you're more than welcome to, office@sdprep.org. If you want to see Lori because you're having an issue making a registering or making a payment for tuition, you would have to call and set up an appointment with her. Our offices are open from 10 to 3 every day. And when I say 3, it is a lie. Sometimes we stay till 4, sometimes we stay until 5. If you tell us you can't get out of work until 4, we will work with you. Okay, still questions on this COVID testing? I don't know how else to. I, I've tried to explain it every which way. Yes, yes. Again, any questions I ask regarding the testing, I ask that you look, we can't cut corners on this. We ask that you speak to your child's pediatrician. I see a lot of questions here that my child was tested for COVID in April. We're talking an entire summer here. Um, please, if you could do it again, it would be appreciated. Um, I, April is way too far back. We're not talking July or August here. So please, payments are due. Um, payments are due. I have a question from a new parent. Payments are due. I believe, Mr. Papa Michael, we said by the 15th of the month, Mrs. Darris, or is it the 5th of the month? 15th. We changed it, right? Okay. So payments are okay. Yes. Okay. Is it the 5th? Okay, so it's the 5th for payments, the 5th with the 10-day grace period. Okay, okay. And again, for those who are still questioning the COVID testing, there's about 2 weeks left before school starts. Please do your best to have your child tested. I can tell you that today I had an argument with a faculty member who I've never argued with before. I don't know if it was my grief talking. I don't know if this person was just being persistent. They said, I'm getting tested in Greece. That doesn't make a difference. You're going to be on a flight. There are no direct flights. You're traveling from Greece to another country to come to New York, 12, 14 hours on a different plane. That person will not be accepted into the building until I get their COVID tests. So, what is good for the goose is good for the gander. Just the way I am letting you know about your children, I stipulated this to a staff member as well. And this is a staff member that is shared by grades 4 through 12. That person was told no COVID test, no swab test, no results, stay home for 14 days. That's the way it is. And we'll get a substitute if we have to. Okay, we're good? Pardon me? Okay, I think so. Unless anybody else has questions. Uh, Urgent care facilities are also doing COVID testing. Thank you for that. And please also speak to your pediatricians. Okay, that is what they're there for. They should be, a person that you feel comfortable going to. I also have former students who are pharmacists at CVS and at Rite Aid. They informed me that there are certain Rite Aids and certain CVSs that do COVID testing, and you can get your results within 3 days. So if you can look into that on your own. Everybody is pretty quick on Googling and whatever it might be. So please. And again, for the remote learning, I must stress it worked out very well for us last year with the high school. It will be synchronized learning. Your child will be following their peer schedule. It is not going to be they're not going to be meeting their teacher at 8 p.m. in the evening to do earth science. It's not going to be that way. They're not going to have social studies at 6:30 in the morning or at crazy hours. They will follow the schedule. That's the way that is the way it's going to be. So please make sure that your child is prepared if they are going to go on remote learning, following through with their teachers. Okay. Somebody asked about separate remote learning orientation. This is going to be based on numbers. Again, at this time, grade 7 through 12, Lori will be able to confirm, and I think she'll write in. I had either 12 or 13 students across the board. In fact, I spoke with Father Nectario about it on Friday, and as of Friday, I think, Father, I told you 12, 7 through 12. In some grades, nobody's going remote. So, I may end up having 5 doing remote in one grade and having 0 doing remote in another grade. So, all of this, and that's why it's important that you notify us whether or not your child will be remote or will not be remote. I have a parent here who is asking about first grade. I don't know if this parent also has a child in the high school or if they just logged on by accident. The first grade meeting is on Thursday, right? Thank you, Mrs. Dares. Thursday from 7 to 9 if you have a first grader. If you have a high school student, oh, yes. It's just, I don't know if this parent may have a high school student as well. That's fine. Okay. Uh, yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Father. I'm going through as much as I can here, but a lot of the questions are repeated. And I just wanted to again reaffirm that we are a Christian school and our faith will continue to be followed. It will be continued to be promoted. Again, we have 4 devoted clergy members that work with us, and it's important that we continue because it is what has sustained us during this difficult time. A lot of prayer and a lot of coffee. So I thank you. I thank you for joining us this evening. As a reminder, if you have a child in grades 4 through 6, the meeting will be held tomorrow from 7 to 9. Father Nick will be sending you a Zoom link. Am I correct, Father? Okay, so okay, we're through Lori. If your child is in grades 1 through 3, Mr. Sedaris, or I'm sorry, K through 3, the meeting will be held Thursday at the same time from 7 to 9. So again, if you joined us this evening for high school and you have a child in the younger grades, I ask that you do the same. Take the time to meet with Ms. Sedaris and Ms. Songas. I will do my very best tomorrow to be in on the meeting as well. Um, again, it will be a little bit difficult, but again, I'm here to work with you. And again, it will be trial and error, and chances are we will argue, but then we'll make up again because you'll see something that you don't like, or I'll see something that I don't like, and but we're here. We're a team, and it's very important. We have to have a united front. So again, we will do our best to accommodate you. And again, for financial aid, we do not want to lose the children. If you're having a difficult time, please reach out to us, and it will not be advertised that you came to us. So that's another. We have a lot of people who are proud and don't want to ask for help, and we have others who may not need that help and are asking for help. So we have to be careful in how we dispense the funds.
Thank you, Helen. And on behalf of all of us, thank you for giving up this evening because we know your situation and we appreciate your commitment. And thank you to everybody for chiming in and participating in this Zoom call tonight. I think it was all worth the effort. And again, we presented the information that needed to be presented. And hopefully, if we didn't answer everyone's questions, we're here to follow up in the days to come.
Yes, thank you, Helen. I think it was a very productive evening, and I think a lot was presented this evening just to come to realize how much effort was placed over the summer to get to this point. So thank you for your efforts, and we are all here for your children. So we will be here to welcome you, and we look forward to seeing everyone. And if you have children in the lower grades, we will be seeing you in the next couple of days as well, because we'll be here to show our support. Have a good night, and God bless you. Διευχών των Αγίων Πατέρων ημών, Κύριε Ιησού Χριστέ ο Θεός, ελέησον και σώσον ημάς. Amen. And thank Father Nicholas for this tech support, John Tiliakos, which has done also on the backup throughout the summer as well. Thank you. Have a good night.